I had a friend visiting me for Friday and till Saturday morning, my good friend Reverend Lisa DeSnow from Milwaukee. And I said what our theme was, and she said, I know exactly what that is. I said, oh. She said, yes, it's when you get a old tire tube and you make it into a designer purse and sell it at a boutique for $1,000. I said, yep, that's about what it is. So it is adding more value than whatever it is would have. Then I told her about our theme today, Embellish the Truth. And she said, that sounds like you're asking people to lie. I said, well, I'm not, so stay tuned. It isn't about lying at all, but it is, if you think about the word truth, and here you see that mason jar became a vase. So that is one of the ways that we can embellish the truth. It's still a vase. I would like to share with you, this is what Ernest Holmes says about the word truth. He said, and this is in the glossary of the Science of Mind if you want to check it out. That which is, it is reason, cause, and power in and through everything. It is birthless, deathless, changeless, complete, perfect, whole, self-existent, causeless, almighty, God, spirit, law, mind, intelligence, and anything and everything that implies reality. Continued. By the process of axiomatic reasoning, we arrived at the conclusion that spirit knows nothing outside itself. The truth is that which is, and being that which is, it must be infinite and all. Being infinite or all, the truth can have nothing outside itself. Consequently, the spirit is indivisible, changeless, and complete within itself. I actually don't want to go there yet. Go back. And complete within itself. And so you see that truth is defined as a synonym for God, for the one. So then embellishing truth wouldn't be exactly possible. It wouldn't be exactly possible to embellish the truth. However, I thought, in Science of Mind often, we are asked to choose something, choose an intention to be something that is greater than we currently know ourselves to be. And that something is more of the truth than we're currently expressing. So for instance, when you start learning the Science of Mind, you might be asked to affirm something about yourself that you want to be so, but may not currently be your experience. Such as 200 times a day, I am prosperous. How many of us have done that? Aha. So, and at the time we were doing it, many of us did not feel prosperous. I am prosperous. So it would be kind of a way of embellishing the truth, of getting to the truth by intending it first, even though that isn't where we are in this moment. Of all of the titles that I've worked with, this has been the hardest one for me to come fully to. But I have two fabulous stories for you, and I think they illustrate exactly this. So the first story is a story that I first heard Dr. Jackie Balzano teach from. It's a wonderful story that Joseph Campbell has in The Power of Myth. So it's one of those stories that's mythic, a big story. It's a big idea. And the story is about, the Knights of the Round Table and of King Arthur and his best knight, Gawain. And what happened in the story is that King Arthur was kidnapped by an evil king in the next kingdom. And the evil king said, I will let you live if you can give me the answer to this riddle. And you only get one chance, you only get one try, and if it's wrong, not only do I get to kill you, but I take your whole kingdom. And the question is, what do women really want? See, it's mythic. It's mythic. It's a big, It's a big idea. So anyway, King Arthur was worried about this, and he said, I have no idea how to find out. And Gawain said, well, your lordship, of course, I will find it for you. I am your most honorable knight. I will find it. And he went across the kingdom asking every man, woman, and child, what is it women really want? And he got answers like women really want pretty dresses. Women really want a lot of money. Women really want a handsome husband. Women really want a good job. All sorts of answers, and he knew none of them were really it. Because if this were so easy, then it wouldn't be a riddle. And finally, it was just about a whole year later. It was 362 days later. And he comes into this clearing, and there's this ugly, drooling, dribbling witch sitting in this clearing. And she says, I know that you're looking for the answer to a question, and I can tell you. And he said, well, how do you know the answer? She said, well, my brother, the king, the evil king in the next kingdom, I know how he thinks. I know the answer. And he said, well, tell me. I could save the kingdom. I could save King Arthur. And she said, I will tell you on one condition. And he said, anything. This is my kingdom and my Lord. Anything. And she says, you must marry me. If you agree to marry me, I will tell you the answer. And he thinks about it only for a little second. He says, of course, this is for my country, for my king. Of course I will. And she says, well, what women really want is to be in charge of their own lives. They want autonomy and freedom. And he hears it, and he knows that's the right answer. And so he goes back to the court, and he tells the king, and there's all sorts of celebrating. And he said, but I promised to marry this woman. And sure enough, the day of the wedding arrives, and she comes, and she just looks horrible. She's drooling. She's dressed in rags. She smells like a sewer. She's toothless, and she just is the most unattractive woman he's ever seen in his life. But he has agreed to marry her. And so they celebrate their wedding, and then it comes to the wedding night. And now he's really dismayed because he knows he really must go through with this because he has given his word. And he goes into the royal bedroom, and there she is. But instead of being ugly and old and drooling, she's the most beautiful woman he has ever seen. Her skin is perfect. Her smile is wonderful. Her eyes are sparkling. Her hair is clean and beautiful, and she smells delicious. And she says, oh, you can't possibly be the same one that I saw in the clearing. And he said, yes. She said, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And you have a choice. I can appear this way only for half of my day. So you can decide whether I will be beautiful to the rest of the world during the day and be ugly to you at night, or whether I would be beautiful to you at night and in the day will be the drooling witch that you first saw. And he thinks about it and he remembers, and he says, well, I know what women really want, and so you get to choose. And with that, the spell was broken, and of course she was beautiful all the time. It's such a great story. It's such a great story because it is what we want, men and women. What we want is to be in charge of our life, to say, my decisions matter, that I have some autonomy with my life, that I get to choose, I get to direct, I get to I get to move in the direction of my dreams. And when you go to the internet and search this story, several of the versions will say, and the moral of the story is, and I'm going to tell you what they say the moral is. It isn't it. But what they say it is, the moral of the story is, let women have what they want or your life will be ugly. That isn't it. That isn't it at all. That's someone making a joke of something that's really broad, really big, really profound. There is such profundity in realizing what our heart's desire is to be authentic and to have some autonomy with what happens in our lives. And what we know is it all is consciousness unfolding. We know that. And, Joseph Campbell says that's the great thing about mythology, because you can have the same myth for thousands of years, and depending on the level of awareness of the listeners, they'll get whatever they get, it'll be the right thing for that time. Because there's always something bigger than the words itself or the story itself. So, embellishing the truth. And what you find are pictures like this, where the whole word of truth is made up of lies. It says lies, 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 lies. And honestly, to embellish means to make something more attractive by the addition of decorative details or features, blue silk embellished with golden embroidery, to make a statement or a story more interesting or entertaining by adding extra details. And I'm going to get to the place where you really get what this is. So you all have read from John, biblically from the chapter of John, he says, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. The truth will make you free. And sometimes the truth asks us to take action that doesn't feel liberating. And yet it always is. It always is. The wonderful writer Khalil Gibran, a poet and mystic, wrote this on self-knowledge. And I want to share it with you. I didn't make it as part of the PowerPoint because it's a little bit longer than I wanted to include. Part of self-knowledge. Well, and he says he has a whole essay on self-knowledge, and it says, and the man said, speak to us of self-knowledge. And he answered, saying, your hearts know in silence the secrets of the days and the nights. But your ears thirst for the sound of your heart's knowledge. You would know in words that which you have always known in thought. You would touch with your fingers the naked body of your dreams. And it is well you should. The hidden wellspring of your soul must needs rise and run murmuring to the sea. And the treasure of your infinite depths would be revealed to your eyes. But let there be no scales to weigh your unknown treasures. And seek not the depths of your knowledge with staff or sounding line. For self is a sea boundless and measureless. Say not, I have found the truth. But rather, I have found a truth. For I have found a truth. Say not, I have found the path of the soul, but rather I have met my soul, the soul walking upon my path. For the soul walks upon all paths. The soul walks not upon a line, neither does it glow like a need. The soul unfolds like a lotus of countless petals. So here's the thing, is that truth is going to change. Words will never describe truth. Words will never describe it, can never embellish it or capture it, because it's God and it's therefore indefinable. It's indefinable. But our hearts catch it, don't they? So how many of you were here Friday night? Yeah. And what our hearts caught on Friday night was the possibility of an awakened world. The possibility of when children have education, that they can rise up out of poverty and give back to their communities. And that those children were so filled with love and with joy and with the desire to please and to be seen truly and to be known. When they got here on Thursday, they got here early, and Diane was here, and she called me down. I got 40 hugs immediately, and I mean big hugs that just held on. I love you kind of hugs, because that's what they were. And we did exceedingly well for them, I think. They had a goal of 20 sponsorships. A sponsorship will make sure that a child has an education. I was talking to them. I would have to explain my blog, if any of you saw my blog. I was going to write about the children. And then I decided to write about something else and to include Pat Brenzig's wonderful, wonderful piece and then write about the children later. Meanwhile, I'd communicated with Darren to please post a little video his mom had taken of me and the children at the piano. I was teaching them how to play. And so he put it in. So we have a combination of two ideas in the blog. It's okay. It fits perfectly with today's talk. But anyway, those children, they were telling me, I said, do you like school? Oh, yes, they really like school. This one little girl said, I love it. And I said, well, do you go to school at home? She was one of the ones from Peru, and she said, sometimes. And I asked her, what do you mean sometimes? I said, is it when you have bad weather you don't go? That's my thinking, you know. She said, no, when there's no money, I don't go to school. It's as simple as that. When there isn't money, their parents can't, or they're wherever they are. And this little one had parents who were very poor. They don't get to go to school. And you know how much it is if you didn't check? It's only $35 American a month to sponsor one of those children. My boy's name is RJ, and he's from the Philippines, and he's 9 years old, and I'm looking forward to a long time of getting to know him, because by my reckoning, at least until he's 19 or 20, so that's 10 or 11 years, and it's the least I can do. It's the least I can do. So I know that that's still possible, and Reverend Karen's going to give us the details of what happened here, because I know you want to know. Anyway, we felt the truth in them. We could feel both their desire to please because it was so important, but we could also feel their love, could really feel their love. I want to share with you another story, and this is the story I'd like to close with. But this story is about how embellished truth is more powerful than just truth. Now, this is probably truth with a small letter T, not the capital that I've been talking about all the time. And some of you have seen this as a piece on the internet, but rather than finding it on the internet, I'm just going to read you this story. It's very short. It's about a blind boy, blind man, and I had several blind stories here for you, and I'm just going to share one, which Andy ran off from me and put at the top of my, okay, here it is. So a blind boy sat on the steps of a building with a hat on his feet. He held up a sign which said, I am blind, please help. There were only a few coins in the hat. A man was walking by. He took a few coins from his pocket and dropped them into the hat. He then took the sign, turned it around, and wrote some words. He put the sign back so that everyone who walked by would see the new words. Soon the hat began to fill up. A lot more people were giving money to the blind boy. That afternoon, the man who had changed the sign came to see how things were. The boy recognized his footsteps and asked, "Were you the one who changed my sign this morning? What did you write?" The man said, "I only wrote the truth. I said what you said, but in a different way. I wrote, 'Today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it.'" Both signs told people that the boy was blind. But the first sign simply said that the boy was blind. The second sign told people that they were so lucky that they were not blind. Should we be surprised that the second sign was more effective? So, what we can look at is embellishing the truth. We can look at, how do we do that? Be thankful for what we have. Like enjoying this beautiful day and where we live. Be creative, be innovative. Think differently and positively. When life gives you 100 reasons to cry, show that you have 1,000 reasons to smile. Face your past without regret. Handle your present with confidence. Prepare for your future without fear. Keep the faith and drop the fear. The most beautiful thing is to see a person smiling. And even more beautiful is knowing that you are the reason behind it. You are the reason behind it. So see the other people in your world that you make smile. Embellish the truth of you, which is already so powerful, by being even more who you are. And so it is. Namaste.